Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com, and I am absolutely stoked because Mizzou just won a game, and they beat an SEC opponent, and they beat a ranked opponent, and they beat an opponent on the road. Something that this team and head coach Eli Drinkwitz has struggled mightily to do as of recently. But today, they did it. And, those are just kind of my initial thoughts on this game. Mizzou wins 23-10 at South Carolina. The real Columbia brings back the trophy this year. Again, this is the fourth year in a row that they've beaten South Carolina. And look, I'll say this. I don't think South Carolina is a top 25 team. I don't think they're a great team. Spencer Rattler isn't a great quarterback, but they were a ranked team, and they were a team on the road, and they were an SEC opponent. And Mizzou went in there today, and they pretty much dominated. They were the better team all game long. Mizzou's defense, unsurprisingly, played another fantastic game, but the story of the game has to be the offense. Even though the defense did really, really well today, even by their standards, they did very well. But you have to talk about the offense because that was the aspect of this Missouri Tigers team that was holding them back all year long. The offense was incapable. They were inept. They could not move the ball. Brady Cook was a problem. The offensive line was terrible. Today was a different story. Brady Cook was able to put together long, sustained drives, and it really helped Mizzou out today. He looked like a different Brady Cook. He didn't turn the ball over. There weren't any stupid turnovers today. He had quite a few nice passes downfield to Dominic Lovett, who continues to be a revelation this year. He had another 150 receiving yards today, essentially, and he continues to dominate. I also think Eli Drinkwitz had a great day play calling today. You would like to see them be a little bit more efficient in the red zone. Drinkwitz even admitted before this game that the red zone offense kind of sucks, and some of it was play calling in the past. I don't think the play calling was bad today. Mizzou just has to execute a little bit better. There were a few times where they should have punched it in and they didn't. I did like, though, that there were a few more designed runs for Brady Cook today. I think that was an attribute of his that this Missouri offense and the coaches weren't really taking advantage of. Like, we knew Brady Cook had the ability to run, but he never really got many designed runs, at least as of lately. I feel like people were down on Brady Cook's ability to run because he was running at the wrong times and his decision-making when running wasn't great. But when you give him those designed runs, he can fly. He can definitely pick up some yards, and that's what he did today. 11 carries for 53 yards, and he also had a rushing touchdown. Mizzou was also 8 of 16 on third down, which is much better than what they typically do. The Tigers also had 367 total yards of offense, 224 passing, 143 rushing. Look, the offense, they dominated South Carolina. They did. You would like to see them convert in the red zone a little bit more, yes. And Harrison Mevis, what the hell's going on with him? He's got to clean up these misses, but he was able to hit a 50-yarder later in the game that pretty much sealed it because South Carolina's offense couldn't do anything. Missouri really only needed a couple scoring drives. It didn't matter if it was touchdowns or field goals in that second half. They just needed to end the drives in some kind of score, and that pretty much put the game out of reach for South Carolina. I think if there's any complaints about this offense today, it's that once again in the second half they were kind of lackluster. Definitely feels like they should have at least scored a touchdown at some point. I know I just said it didn't matter. It didn't matter as far as them winning the game is what I'm saying, but it does matter in a way that you want to see them progress a little bit because the same thing happened against Vandy last week where they scored 17 points in the first half and they almost lost that game. They almost collapsed and couldn't score at all in the second half. So, you want to see the offense convert in the red zone a little bit more. You want some of these field goals to start turning into touchdowns. On another positive note, however, I think we can come to the conclusion that Mizzou's offensive line played a really good game. They actually gave Brady Cook pretty nice protection for most of the game today. I thought the run blocking in the second half was very good. Cody Schrader definitely started chipping away a lot more in that second half. I think the blocking was a little bit better. They also made a switch personnel-wise today. EJ and Doma Ogar played at right guard, and I think EJ Ndoma Ogar, he hasn't played much, but when he has, he's definitely been a road grader in the run game, and I think that made a little bit of a difference. And I also liked that they mixed in Elijah Young again today. It seems like he's finally back and healthy. He had 3 carries for 20 yards. His usage is a little bit puzzling. I would like to see him get involved a little bit more because he's definitely very fast. It seems like they really give him limited touches each game. I would like to see Mizzou use him a little bit more because he also had a reception for 11 yards. And again, the speed was a big factor on that one catch that went for 11 yards. Overall, I'm happy with what the offense was able to do today. It's still not perfect. It's still not even what I would call great, but it was good today. They made enough plays to win the game, and that's just not something you could say about them before this game. They just weren't making plays to win games. They were shooting themselves in the foot constantly. And if there's one bad thing about this win, it makes you look back at those Auburn games and the Florida game, and you just shake your head because Mizzou should have won those, and they could have won those if they just didn't freaking shoot themselves in the foot. And we could say the same thing about a couple games last year. It's a common thing with Mizzou. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But really, though, like this team, they're 4-4. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, Drinkwitz is going to go 3-9. This team is terrible. They're not going to win a conference game." Well, no, that's not the case anymore. They're 4-4, and everyone was praising Arkansas and Sam Pittman and Barry Odom. Well, they're only one game better Mizzou. They haven't really looked great at any point this year. They almost lost to Missouri State. They should have lost to Cincinnati earlier this year. Things aren't going so great down there. I think Arkansas is a beatable opponent. I think Mizzou could definitely beat Arkansas. I think there's still a path to Mizzou being bowl eligible this year. But that's further down the line, and if Mizzou wants to do that, the offense has to continue to get better. Today was a step in the right direction, but I would like to see more going forward. I would like to see Brady Cook execute a little bit more plays. I would like to see this team punch it in a couple more times in the red zone, more times than they did today. But again, a step in the right direction. Then there's the defense. And look, I know I said the offense was the story of the game, and it is because they answered the call that they needed to. But man, this defense just continues to be damn good. They're elite. Like we've been watching them long enough. Like guys, they are elite. And I tweeted this out during the game. I don't know what the record is for tackles for a loss by an SEC defense in a single season, but I feel like Mizzou's got to be creeping up on that record, whatever the number is, because these guys just make plays in the backfield, and it's a thing of beauty to watch. Like it seemed like every other player, every time South Carolina tried to run the ball, Mizzou's defense was right there swallowing them up for a loss. South Carolina only had 32 rushing yards today, and they only averaged 3.8 yards per offensive play. I mean, those are just that's damn impressive. The Missouri defense held South Carolina to only 6 of 13 on third down, and they forced South Carolina to punt 6 times in the game. The defensive line came up huge in this game. Isaiah McGuire, his stat line from today, 5 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, and 2 sacks. There was one play where I think he got double-teamed, just blew right through it and sacked Spencer Rattler anyway. DJ Coleman is another guy that's been coming on strong as of late for the Missouri defense. He had a sack today as well. These guys just continue to fly around and make plays. I thought the secondary also had a very good day today. There was one drive, and I think the refs definitely got a little flag happy on that drive. It was the one right before the first half ended, and South Carolina was able to get a cheap touchdown because of that. And there was a play where it was kind of frustrating because Spencer Rattler was able to easily scamper into the red zone, and no one was really accounting for the run there. That was a little bit frustrating, but that was really the only mishap of the day. Besides that, the Missouri defense did their job. Joseph Charleston in the secondary had a great day. He also had a really nice blitz on Mizzou's first defensive drive to force a bad throw from Spencer Rattler, and that forced South Carolina to punt. Also, shout out to Ennis Rakestraw. He's been great down the stretch, guys. After coming off that torn ACL and not looking very good last year, and he wasn't great at the beginning of this year either. A lot of people wrote him off. He has been fantastic as of lately. Chris Abrams-Drain continues to look like an NFL cornerback. I'll tell you what, Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator, Mizzou's going to have to scrap together some money to give him a raise and make sure that he stays in Columbia, because this Missouri defense is this is the best Missouri defense I've seen in my lifetime. I don't think it's a stretch to say that. It's a shame that they don't have a better offense to go with it, and if they did, they would have a better record, and the team would be getting more national attention, thus the defense would be getting more national attention. But this is a top 5 defense in America. There are players with NFL potential all over this defense. I haven't even mentioned Tyron Hopper, who's probably the best player on this defense. I'm just super happy for this defense. I'm super happy Mizzou was able to win today for this defense, because this defense had been fighting all year long, but Mizzou wasn't winning games, and you wondered how long this defense would hold up, because sometimes when you have a defense this good and the offense just continually lets them down, it's hard for them to still play at the same effort level, the same energy level. But this team hasn't given up, and that's something that I've always complimented Eli Drinkwitz's teams on, is that they don't give up, and this team hasn't given up. Mizzou easily could have rolled over at several points this year. They could have easily rolled over and died after that Auburn game, but this team came out. They played a hell of a game against Georgia. They almost beat Florida. They pulled out a tough one against Vandy. I know it was an ugly game, but the important thing is that they won, and now they come out today against South Carolina, a ranked team on the road, and they won. And that's all you can ask for. I know this season hasn't been great, guys. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we shouldn't be disappointed that Missouri is 4-4 in year 3 under Eli Drinkwitz. I get the frustrations, but I simply can't imagine complaining after a double-digit win against a ranked team on the road. This was a good win for the Tigers today. There's still a lot this team can improve on. As I said, I want the offense to continue to get better and the defense keep doing its thing, and this team can still win some games this year. This can still be a fun season. Obviously, they started out really bad, and they should have a better conference record. They should have beaten Auburn. I know. It's frustrating. I'm still pissed off just thinking about it, but you know who else is pissed off? That football team, Eli Drinkwitz. They're pissed off too. They know they should have won, but they came out today and they rose to the occasion. I've said it many times, and I'll say it again. I believe in this football team. I believe in head coach Eli Drinkwitz. I believe he can build a good program here. I just think he needs more time. Today is just another example. It's another piece of evidence that, hey, Drinkwitz can win here. He can. He just needs to continue to bring in talent, compile stars, swallow his ego a little bit, and learn to grow as a head coach. We knew that Mizzou took a shot in the dark when they hired him. He's a young head coach. I think he's still learning on the fly a little bit. That's the risk that Mizzou took when they hired him. And I think even Eli Drinkwitz himself is starting to learn that a little bit. He even said in his last press conference leading up to the game this week, hey, I know my offensive play calling has sucked. I wouldn't push back on maybe bringing in an offensive coordinator this offseason. That's pretty much what he said. Because I know a lot of people have said Eli Drinkwitz should bring in an offensive coordinator. Well, apparently he's considering it. Drinkwitz wants to win here. He talked about how bad he wanted to win here. He's willing to do anything, even if it means giving up some of his responsibilities as a play caller. And that's what I love to hear from the head coach, that he's willing to do anything to win. I've been saying this Mizzou team is built to win. They just had shortcomings at offensive line and quarterback, and I think this team is only a few pieces away. And we saw that today because Brady Cook played better and Mizzou won. I think quarterback play has been something that's been holding them back. Same thing with the offensive line. A lot of people were blaming Drink, the play caller, when I thought the play calls as of recently haven't been that bad. It's hard to call plays that work for a limited quarterback and a limited offensive line. When those two areas of your team are subpar, it is really hard to win. Both of those phases of this team played well today, and what do you know? They won. And that's why I think any talk of firing Drinkwitz was ridiculous, because, he has a future to sell us on. We still have Sam Horn that we're waiting to see, and I think that he can be good. Just give Drinkwitz another offseason to bring in pieces on this offensive line. And, guys, this team is right there, and I think we will start seeing wins. We will start seeing big wins. Do you guys realize how close we are? Again, I get this season has not gone as Mizzou fans have wanted it to go, but this team is so close. They are right there. And some of you want to fire the head coach. I just don't get it. I know Mizzou fans don't want to hear this, but it is only year 3, okay? It is only year 3. I know that people want to see results and they want to see them fast, but that just that was unreasonable to ever expect. Even when Mizzou first hired Drinkwitz, this process was always going to take time. And as Drinkwitz has said before, progress is not linear. I will remind you, Gary Pinkel himself, who a lot of people consider to be the best coach in Missouri history, did not even have a winning record until after 4 years. I believe in Eli Drinkwitz. I think he can get the job done here. And today made me feel a lot better about saying that this was a game that Mizzou absolutely had to win. This was a swing game on their schedule and a game that could swing positive momentum in Mizzou's direction had they won. And they went out there and they won by double digits against, again, a ranked opponent on the road. I know South Carolina is a little bit of a fraudulently ranked team. I don't think they're that good, and they kind of won a fluke game against Texas A&M. But look, it's a ranked win on the road, okay? I don't know how you couldn't be happy with that. This is a good win for the team. It's a good win for everyone involved, and I'm happy. I'm a happy man on Saturday because the Missouri Tigers won today. So those are my thoughts on the game. Those are my thoughts on the state of the program right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, though, whether you agree, disagree with anything I said. Would love to engage with you guys. But yeah, all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Mizzou fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com. And I will see you all in the next one. MIZ.